So this particular module that I'm teaching has to do with what we need to do to start the club from scratch, assuming that your area, your church has no Pathfinder Club. All right. Now, so there are 10 things I want to talk about, 10 different things. The first one, okay, beside prayer, of course, even though I didn't put it here, it always begin with prayer, seeking the Lord's direction as we go about setting a club. Now, after you've done that, after the season of prayer, always discuss the idea of starting the club with your church pastor. Unless there's no church pastor or the pastor only comes once in a while, especially those of you from in the Middle East where a pastor may not always be available. So in that case, you will have to discuss with your first elder, all right? Okay, so share your plans. Wow,
Andy?
it's very noisy. I hope they unmute themselves. It's very noisy. Eh? All right, so you should share your plans to start a Pathfinder Club with your church pastor, and if possible, even though this is not 100% required, discuss this with your conference youth director or your mission or your field director. Let them know, so at least they know that, wow, so nice that now we have a new club starting in Sharjah or Abu Dhabi or whatever, or wherever you're from, all right, or in Cape Town or in Bloemfontein or whatever. It's the youth director for the conference. Once he finds out, he or she, in a sense, is responsible to provide support and material and to channel policies to you, so that now you become part of the network of clubs within that conference. Right. Now, if possible, as I mentioned earlier on, after you consult with your church pastor, invite the pastor to serve as well as the club chaplain, to be the one in charge of spiritual activities. And then submit your proposal, write that down, or you can channel it to your pastor to bring it to the church board for approval. Now, the Pathfinder Club has to be approved by the local church board, right? It's not to be approved by the conference. The conference doesn't approve it, or the mission or the field doesn't approve it. It is the local church board that approve whether to allow you to have a club or not. Seriously, there should not be any reason as to turn down. It is a ministry of the church, so all churches should approve the setting up the club without any problem. I don't see any reason why they should prevent the formation of a club. Now, the reason why we submit it to the club or to the church for approval is so that you can be sure that every year they will provide staffing in the nominating committee. They will look for people to serve in your various for the various offices, and they make sure there is budgeting, that there is a portion of the church budget goes towards funding the activities of your club, right? Now, after you have done this thing, set a date for the launching of the club. Now, this is important, with the pastor aware, with the church board aware, and they voted it that on March the 1st or whatever, the new club for whatever area you're from will be officially launched. So it all began with the starting of the club, with the discussion of this idea with your pastor, okay? And once he has endorsed it and brought to the church board for approval, you have done the most important thing. Number two, now you can't do it alone. You need a staff. Just as I mentioned earlier on, remember when I was covering the unit on staffing, the leadership. So recruit staff for the Pathfinder Club, right? To get people who serve as the director, the deputy director, the instructors, the counselor, and so on. Now, this usually will be the parents of the kids or any members of the church who love working with young people. So if they are not parents yet, we welcome them to become one of the club officers, okay? Then it's very important that you make sure that everyone who will be part of the staff are briefed on their duties. So you will have to find from the conference director the job description for each of the duties. Now, of course, this was already covered in my previous module on club leadership. You already now know the job description for the instructor, for the counselor. So that's why that was covered just before this. So print out that and give it to each of your staff member who have been asked to be the counselor, instructor, deputy, and so on. It's highly recommended, like what all of you are doing right now, that all officers sign up for the Pathfinder Staff Training course, the basic level. This is essential so that you truly understand the philosophy, the workings of the Pathfinder Club, and how the Pathfinder Club works and so on. And this is an essential component to become a master guide. We also recommend that all officers eventually become master guide. And the Pathfinder Staff Training, the PST, is an essential component to become a master guide. Now, if you're the club director who is the one who have been recruiting, plan for a continued program of upgrading for your officers so that they are constantly improving themselves. So you know that your officers are new. So every now and then, make sure they go for training at the conference level, or invite the conference youth director to conduct training or so on, right? Okay, now still under recruiting staff members. Ensure that your staff members are all equipped with uniform. This is important. Now, again, this depends on your church. For very rich church, sometimes they actually provide uniform for the club officers. Now, most of the time, it is the individual responsibility, right? Again, it all depends on how generous your church is. Some churches I know even provide A1 uniform. I'm talking about the jacket for their officers. All depend on how wealthy and how generous and supportive your church is. So most of the time, the staff members pay for their own uniform, all right? Now, give instructors enough time to settle into their roles, especially those who will be teaching the classes. So give them the curriculum, let them become thoroughly acquainted what it means to teach the French class. And if they are honest instructor, give them all the requirements and the answers so they prepare themselves sufficiently to settle into their role, to perform their roles as club instructors for the honors or for the classes. Now, the third point here is interesting. Occasionally, you will also have people who are willing to help, who are willing to serve, but not to serve full-time as a club officer. They said, no, I don't want to commit myself to serving a whole year, but I don't mind coming in, and these are what I call the short-term helpers, and we welcome them. We actually welcome them who are willing to come in occasionally to teach or help out in a camp out or a hike, or to teach and honor, but they will not be there permanently, and so therefore these are the ones that usually do not wear a uniform. So you have short-term helpers whom you can count to be there to help out in your camping, your hiking, or community services or whatever, right? So remember, these are also people you can rope in, the short-term helpers. These people, the short-term helpers, need not be members of the church, right? Especially if you are asking them to help out in the camp. People that you know, that people who are friends of your church, who comes to your church once in a while and they like what you're doing, you can actually get them to help, right? Provided they submit to our philosophy and they have no problem, right? Now, number 3, it's very important that you have a meeting with your staff members to plan for the club before the official launching, okay? So meet with your staff, those people that you recruited from here, meet with your staff to discuss the aims for your club for this year and the goals. Now, it's very important to plan the aim. Our aim this year is to have Pathfinders truly draw closer to God or whatever, and then express it in actual goals. That at the end of this year, our Pathfinder would have already finished reading the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or whatever. So specify your goals. That at the end of this year, they would have completed 8 honors. At the end of this year, those in the 10-year-old bracket will finish a friend, 11-year-old will finish their companion, and so on. So, express your goal in black and white so that you will evaluate every quarter, and at the end of the year, see whether you reach your goals. This is important. Plan well in advance the first club meeting. Now, the first club meeting is the most important, because if the first club meeting went bad, it sets a very bad tone for the rest of the year. So before you launch your first club meeting, make sure that you plan it really well, right to the last detail. Right? Just as you plan for the year activity, plan it really in advance. Then share your plans with the church board. Right now, you have planned your activity that every quarter we'll go camping or we will have an outing, right? And we'll need a church van or the if you have a church van or whatever, or we need a tent. This must be made known to the church board. So that's why all your plans must be submitted. Why? This prevent clashes with event scheduling, because sometimes the church board may already plan a crusade or evangelism meeting, and they require all of you to be there. But lo and behold, you and your club are all camping outside. So this is very bad. So there's no harmony, no synchronization. So you have to submit your plans to the church board so that the church board will tell you, hey, could you reschedule your camp? Because we've got a major church activity or a major conference activity during that time. Okay, so that's why you need to submit it to the church board. Once your plan has been approved, can I say something? Stick to your plan as much as possible and make your plan known to your members. In fact, print it out like a calendar form so they can see each month what will happen. Stick to it. If you keep changing your plan too much, people will lose confidence in your planning. So as far as possible, stick to the things you have voted in. Only in very exceptional cases, you will make changes to your plan. Now, work out the details of all the major events, at least 1 month. In fact, I would suggest even much longer, much ahead of time. That because some of them really require a lot of planning, like outings, hiking, camping, excursion, visit to the zoo or whatever, okay, or visit to the, to canoeing or whatever. This require a lot of planning, so that you book the thing ahead of time. You make sure you have insurance, you have adequate people to make sure things are safe and so on. Right, and then the enrollment day, in which you want to recruit people. This has to be planned well. Induction ceremony where the members is officially admitted. Now this will be covered later on under ceremonies. Okay, so I won't speak too much about induction, and also Pathfinder Day. All right, all these things I will talk about later on. So in your meeting with staff members, you have to discuss all these things prior to the launching of the club. All right. Now these are some of the questions to ask during your meeting with your officers. What are the values to be taught, to be imparted this year? Like, for example, every quarter you got a team, a value team. A Pathfinder should be honest. So in other words, from January to March, all your devotion try to focus on honesty. A Pathfinder is honest, so your talks will be honesty, and you do honest project. A project to teach the value of honesty and so on. Right? Ask them to collect articles from the newspaper or from online internet about people who were honest and so on. So this is how you teach value. You deliberately write it down that this year we will teach the value of honesty, of hard work, of politeness, of forgiving. And so as a result, your devotion, your spiritual talks can all be geared towards these values. Write down what are the honors you'll be teaching. My recommendation is that you should not have more than 8 honors a year. More than 8 honors is a bit too much. And only 1 class per year for each age bracket. Try not to jump classes. 1 year do 2 classes. That is actually not correct technically, all right? And then what are the special skills that we mastered? This year, I want all my Pathfinder to learn to swim, or all my Pathfinder to know drill marching. I want all my Pathfinder to know semaphore. If 1 year you can teach them 1 skill or 2 skills, you have really done a good job, okay? We are talking about practical life skills, rope tying, semaphore, what's that? Drill marching, swimming, and that kind of stuff, or camping skills and so on, okay? Now, the teachers needed for the above. Now, all these things, you need teachers. So this is one of the questions you ask yourself, who will be teaching these 3, the values, the honors, the special skill. Right, then also ask yourself, what are the places Pathfinder will be visiting this year? The zoo, the museum, or the park, a camping place for our camping, or even to visit Pathfinder Club in another church. All these things need to be planned, and so write that down. So during your brainstorming, write that down and then put an actual date for each of these things. What are the community projects you'll be doing now? A good club will do at least one community project every year. So this is my recommendation. Every Pathfinder Club will be involved in at least one community project every year. And of course, I already mentioned, what are the special events? The induction service to admit officially the members. Pathfinder Day, the Adventist service is a ceremony where we give out all the badges they earn, their honors. This is almost like what we call the graduation. And also, what are the things to be ordered ahead of time? Now, this is good. A good club always ordered all those Pathfinder materials ahead of time. Don't order things last minute. This is going to create a lot of problems. And what are the training courses planned for the club officers? Like, since we want them to become master guide, we will plan the Pathfinder Staff Training for them, the church history class for them, the counseling course for them, and whatever other requirements, okay? All right, number 4, advertise the formation of your Pathfinder Club. Now, this is so important, okay? You have to let people know. You see, you may have forgotten how important it is to inform your church members well ahead of time, and also inform the community, especially if you have very good network with the people in the community, of the launching date of your club, so that people will know that, wow, in March 1, this church is going to have a Pathfinder Club. So this has to be informed, all right, announced. So advertise it, the club, the formation of the club, through a variety of ways, like make posters, have a big banner outside your church or inside your church, flyers, okay, print out flyers so that this can be given to potential parents. Make an insert several times in the church bulletin. Publish this news on your church website, or if your church have a Facebook account, make sure all this is put onto your online forum. Then have a Pathfinder Club Enrollment Day. Now this is important, just like this club here, right? The Orange Constellation Pathfinder Club, they have a Pathfinder Club Enrollment Day. This is the open enrollment, which is like an open house, where all the parents and potential members are invited to this open house. Now, can I say something? Because your club is a new club, you still do not have people who can showcase the talents. So that's the time when you hopefully have got a nearby club from another district within your conference or within your district, and say, hey, can you guys come over and help us during our enrollment day, so that you can ask your Pathfinder to demonstrate their semaphore skill, their drill and marching skill, their first aid skill, to impress the parents, to impress those potential members. Wow, then they can actually see for themselves what Pathfinder actually learned, because you have invited a nearby club who are all in their full uniform, and they are performing all these skills. So this is something I highly recommend. Invite a nearby club, an established club, to lend a hand in your enrollment day, all right? Use that enrollment day as an occasion to explain what the Pathfinder Club is all about. So who are the members, okay? Who are the officers, okay? Why do we have such a club, okay? Where do we meet and when do we meet, and so on? How is the club financed, and so on? So all the questions pertaining to who, what, why, when, where, and how are all being answered during that enrollment day. The parents will definitely have some question to ask, you see. And highlight the benefits of joining the club through a photo exhibition featuring the things to be learned and the activities to be enjoyed. Especially, remember I was telling you about the nearby club that you invited. If they can come and they can have a photo exhibition of what their club did, and say, similarly, we will also be doing things like what this club will be doing, the swimming activities, the camping activities, learning about stars, learning about cooking, learning about camping, and all these things. So have a photo exhibition or craft exhibition if possible. Explain to parents what would be required for their kids to join. Now this is important. For example, they will have to pay the club fee, which we will set it at a very reasonable level, so that it's become affordable. That they will have to make a uniform or buy a uniform. They will have to do class work, okay? That each of the class will help them become better people. they will have to join and go for outdoor activities, which are carefully adult supervised activities so that your kids are well protected, right? And have an open question and answer session for parents and parents who ask any question concerning joining the club, all right? Okay, number 5. I mentioned this earlier. It's very important to order all your materials way ahead of time, especially the making of the uniform. So once you know the number of kids joining the club, quickly assist them to make their uniform. And that means you have to help them order all the different badges, right? You know that they will need the world emblem, the triangle, the name club, the club name strip, the lanyard, if you're using lanyard, the beret, and so on, okay? So if possible, have a standard tailor, hire one tailor, and this tailor, because he's doing it for so many kids, he may give a discount, right? So this is the thing you should do. So get them to purchase or to make the uniform as soon as possible. Now, then order or make any Pathfinder, all those Pathfinder materials needed, like the flag. If you are too poor to buy your own flag, you can make your own flag, your unit guidon, the banners for the aim, motto, pledge, and law. This can be made locally, you know, right? All right. So this is good. And of course, you have to order the honors to be taught and the classes insignia. If you are doing friend class, make sure you buy all the friend pins, the friend pocket strip, the friend chevron, and the friend advanced ribbon, and so on, okay? Prepare the progressive class workbook or the journal for the Pathfinder. So the friend, anybody who's doing the friend class, each of them will have a book about friend, and they will bring this book every week to do all the requirements, okay? Just like a school textbook. Now, I recommend what I call a Pathfinder information booklet to be given to every new Pathfinder. In that little booklet, you have the Pathfinder song, the Pathfinder aim, the Pathfinder motto, the pledge, and the law. And you can also put inside the little information booklet the phone number of the club director, the phone number of the club counselor, of course, their names and their phone numbers, and even a picture of their photos on it. So this is what I call the Pathfinder information booklet. So these are things you should order or make ahead of time. Now, these are some of the things that are needed to run a Pathfinder club really well. So here, let me tell you what are some of the things that you should be procuring, you should be ordering. And over time, I hope you have all of them. Now, of course, when you first start up, you may not have the money for all of them, but over time, I hope you will have all of these things. You have a Pathfinder flag, the unit guidon. For each unit, you have one guidon, the unit flag, the banners for the pledge, law, aim, and motto, right? That you have ample supply of the Pathfinder honors, the class pin, chevron, pocket strips, and ribbon. Now, some of you may not know what these are, so when you come to uniform, I'll explain to you what the chevron, all these things are. Now, uniform material. Now, this is important. You need to order the Pathfinder triangle, the Pathfinder world emblem, the club name strips, or whatever name, go and get it made. And right, the Pathfinder beret, which is the hat, the Pathfinder beret badge, the lanyard, right, depending whether your club use lanyard, neckerchief, and the neckerchief holder. And then you also should have a club T-shirt, which we call it the Class B uniform. Name tags for each Pathfinder members, and captain and scribe badges for those captain and scribe for each unit. You should be having lots of teaching aids. Teaching aids like ropes, bandages, semaphore flags, posters, teaching posters, compasses, basic staff training manuals, honor manuals, class requirement manuals. All these things you should be having. So these are all part of the things needed to run the club. And outdoor equipment such as tents, right? First aid box, whistle, axe, compasses, whatever which are necessary, including lanterns or what do you call that? Those lights that you need, portable lighting system, okay? All right, and a bullhorn, okay? A bullhorn is something like a portable loudspeaker. Okay, now number 6, the launching of the club. Now we're talking about the actual first club meeting. Okay, what actually happened? On the during the first club meeting, this is the time for orientation because all these people are new. So this is what I call the time of introduction. Introduce to them what the Pathfinder Club is and get them settled so that they know the ritual of the club, what it means to be a member, that you must be there at this time at the parade ground where the order fall in has been called in, right? And then you go through all the drill and marching and the roll call attendance report, and before you enter the flag raising, the singing of the Pathfinder song, the pledge and law before you enter the class for the club activity. So this first club meeting introduce them to all the different rituals of the club. So patiently guide the Pathfinder member into the rituals of the club ceremony, especially those that involve drill and marching. They are new, so you have to patiently teach them how to do a left turn, right turn, parade rest, attention, salute, and so on. Okay. In the first club meeting, you divide the members into the various units. Of course, this should have been done ahead of time because you really know who signed up. So among the club officers during the staff meeting, you really divide. So you simply inform, hey, Pathfinder so-and-so, you are in this unit, Pathfinder so-and-so, you are that unit. So this is the time where members are divided into different units. And then they are aware who is their counselor, who is their unit leader. And during the time in the first meeting, the unit among themselves choose a captain and a scribe, and you let them know this is only for a period of 3 months or 6 months because it will be rotated. All captain and scribe are to be rotated, all right? Number 7. Now, I did earlier mention about the merit system, so now can I say this? When you organize a club, the way to ensure that your club is really top form, a top form, well-greased, well-oiled running club is one that employ and implement what I call a merit point system. This is so essential. Any club that doesn't use the merit point system, you will have haywire Pathfinder, very ill-disciplined Pathfinder. Because the merit point system, if you implement such a system, it will reward and affirm disciplined Pathfinders. And at the end of the year, they earn what we call the good conduct ribbon, which is a ribbon, special ribbon they wore above the right pocket, the left pocket, I beg your pardon. And with every subsequent year, a little star will be added to the ribbon. Now, every Pathfinder are eligible, all right? So we do not say this year we only give out 2 or 3 ribbons. This is wrong. The good conduct ribbon is open to all. So whoever achieved the points that you set up, all right, to get the good conduct ribbon, and if they all achieve it, all should get the good conduct ribbon. This system awards points for the following. Number 1, attendance, and then also punctuality. So if 1 year you have got 20 meetings, so they should have attend at least 15 out of the 20 meetings, at least 75% of the meeting to get the full 15 points or 20 points allotted for attendance. And then with that, also punctuality, did they arrive on time? This is important. So punctuality, attendance, you may give a total of 20 points. So within that 1 year, did they get the full 20 points? If they have no discipline problem, they should get the full 20 points for discipline. So they are respectful, they salute officers when they are wearing uniform. They always say thank you, and they know how to say, they know to greet officers good morning and good afternoon, whatever. And they are not have no behavioral problem. Then give them the full 20 points or whatever points allotted under this category. Then we also give points for the completion of all classwork. That include the progressive class, the friend class, companion class, as well as the honors. So if this year you teach 6 honors and they all complete the 6 honors as well as did the friend class or companion class, they will also get the full 20 points or whatever under this section. Uniform inspection or uniform tidiness. Now this is also another section we award points. Every month you should have a uniform inspection where they all wear full uniform. They check themselves top to bottom, where everything is in right place, whether it's been cleaned and whether it's been ironed, right? So everything must be exactly where it is, right? So we also give points. This is also part of discipline. And the faithful submission of club dues. Now this is important because members submitting a club dues is also an act of responsibility, that they do not forget at the right time to submit their club fees. Now this is where I want to urge caution. If indeed you find a member not able to submit, counselor tactfully find out why. Perhaps the family of that parent, of that Pathfinder, may be having financial problem. Now, if that's the case, we will not mark this against this person because their family is going through hardship. So even though we give out points, but when you as a counselor found the reason why that person was not able to submit the club dues, we will probably still give him the full point. So this must be taken into consideration. Why was the person not able to submit his club fees? Because we do keep up points for that. Respect for club officers. Now this is again part of what I call the discipline. So total these points is 50 and 100. And if you say that this year anybody will get 90% or 75% of the total 100 points, they will all be given the good conduct ribbon. Normally we do not expect 100%. Okay, it's not possible to receive because there will be times that people will be late. There will be times that people have to miss a meeting. So it's not always possible to get the full 20 points allotted for attendance or punctuality. There will be a time where somebody forgot a Pathfinder pin or forgot a Pathfinder badge, and so it's not possible to get 100%. So that's why we say all those who get either 75% or 85% of the total points, then they will get the good conduct ribbon. Now that's the way the good conduct ribbon, the merit system works. Now your records must be kept carefully. The counselor is the one who keeps the record of each member. So we know at the end of the year who to recommend for the good conduct ribbon. Now, as a good counselor, you maintain good Pathfinder counselor relationship to find out if they have disciplinary problems so that they will no longer be a disciplinary problem case, so that they also will get the full point. So if you find that they were rude for some reason, hot temper or quarrelsome or fighting, find out tactfully to iron out all the problem at the unit level. So it's very important for the counselor to work on the personal level with each of the errand on so-called Pathfinder who have disciplinary problem. All right. Okay. Number 8. Now, this is something I highly recommend. Once you start a club, let them know that you are part of a network of many, many clubs. So one way you do that is once in a while, invite another club to come to join your club meeting, or you go and join their club meeting, or perhaps you can have a combined 2 clubs to learn a Pathfinder honors together. So it's very good for what I call networking. The networking leads to greater joy. All right. Seriously, if you network with other Pathfinder club, it gives you a greater sense of awareness that I'm a part of a big fellowship, a big family of Pathfinder club. Not only in my church have a club, and the other church also has a club, and that other church also has a club. So this is what I call the big picture. So plan visits to other clubs and also invite other clubs to visit your club, to have joint Pathfinder Day, every now and then, to have joint inter-club social nights. Okay, so where you play games together, have fun together. Once in a while, have a joint hiking or joint camping, or a joint honor together, where we invite one instructor and 2 clubs are together learning the same honor. So this is something I also recommend. Okay. Now, get members to attend conference or international Pathfinder camporee. Now, this is again part of networking. Oh my, when they attend the conference level camp, now they can see so many clubs. And if they attend international Pathfinder, they can see Pathfinder from so many different countries. This is something I highly recommend. Of course, the international club Pathfinder camporee, if it's outside the country, may be a bit expensive. So try to organize it within your own country to invite other countries to come in. Okay, if you can't afford to go to other countries. This is something I highly recommend. Now, one of the things I also promoted when I was the youth director many years ago is what I call pen pal friendship. Right? Write to other clubs from other country and write to the club director and say, hey, do you have any Pathfinders who are willing to become friends of my Pathfinder? And therefore, your Pathfinder is writing to a friend in America, or another will be writing to a friend in Hong Kong, another will be writing to a friend in South Africa, another will be writing to a friend in India. And that's the whole idea, all right? So promote this idea of pen pal friends, all right? Or they can email each other, all right? And it's good, especially through writing. I actually highly recommend the old-fashioned way of writing, because when you write, you can send things like stickers, a photo of yourself, all right? Of course, people, if you want instant, then you'll be emailing, all right? But the whole idea is to make friends with Pathfinder from other country or Pathfinder from other clubs within your country. Okay, the best is to have Pathfinder friends from other country. I highly recommend this. Okay, number 9, ensure regular staff meeting have regular staff meeting to ensure your club is functioning well. Now, the secret of a good club, is that you as the club director is working very well with your officers. To do that, you must have regular, at least once a quarter, officers meeting. So Pathfinder officers should meet at least every quarter to discuss the plans of the club. Have we been achieving the things we said we do? Are the honors being taught exactly on schedule? Are we achieving and arriving at all the goals that we said we'll do? You know? So at the end of this year, you can actually say, wow, we actually achieved all the goals we set up. Such meeting enable officers to see whether the club aims and goals have been achieved. Right? During such meeting, problems can be discussed and ironed out. So this is the time to say, hey, you know, we need to consider changing the Pathfinder time or consider changing this policy or whatever. So this is the time for the club officers to meet. Now, I'm recommending at least once a quarter. Actually, a good club meets, the Pathfinder officers meet at least once every month, if not once every 2 months. Minimum once a quarter. Officer meeting help to provide regular feedback as to the health of the club. All right, especially you notice this unit are losing more and more members. Then we ask ourselves why. Okay, why is that so? And how can we bring in more members? So when you have regular staff meeting, you are able to anticipate problem and able to solve problem and able to plan things way ahead of the time. All right, lastly, okay, now this is good. I still got another half an hour more to cover one more section. Number 10, I want you to remember one very important keyword. A good club always have what I call fair walks. Fair walks. FAVOCs. FAVOCs. This is the acronym for 6 important key successes. All right, secrets to success. Let me tell you what FAVOCs stands for. Fun is the first word. This is the most important word, let me tell you, and fun is not a dirty word. Kids love fun. Let's accept the fact that kids love fun, and you should be a fun guy as a director, as a counselor. You should be a fun guy, and the activities of the club should be fun. All learning should be taught in a fun way, not a what I call a horrible, monotonous way. So make sure that your club really is a club where Pathfinder really felt that it's such a fun thing to join the club. Pathfinders also love action. They hate passive activity. So that's why we always say, get out. You know, that's why outdoor is another thing. Every now and then, ask them to do things. Don't just sit down, right? So it's actually bad. Even song service, you know, has an action song, right? Do things outside. That's why I say go outdoor once in a while. So Pathfinder hates passivity, just sitting down all the time. That's bad. So have a lot of action, do a lot of stuff. And then another very important, variety. Avoid monotony. That means doing the same thing over and over again. And I always use the word avoid SOS, SOS. What does SOS stand for? Same old stuff, or same old stuff. This is bad. Okay, if your club die, most of the time it's because of SOS. So this is the ailment, same old stuff. So have a variety, keep changing. All right, the pace and the things that you do, and the Pathfinder will enjoy it because there's always so much variety. And go to the outdoor. Oh, kids should be brought out to the great outdoor as much as possible. Every quarter, plan an outing. Go hiking or go to or camping or they love it. Okay, they actually absolutely love it. And do challenging stuff. Let kids learn something new. All right, like for example, abseiling or canoeing or something that challenges them. Obstacle race. They'll enjoy. And by the way, I also like to teach cryptography. You know, coding. Teach them how to break secret codes. Teach them the codes, and to break the codes. Right, do a treasure hunt where they have to unravel all those codes to find the treasure. These are challenges, and they love it. And plan surprises. This one you don't tell them. Every now and then you have a pleasant surprise for them, an ice cream treat, or bring them out and you didn't plan for a surprise, something that they didn't totally anticipate, and this helps to spice up your club, right? So remember, FAVOCS stands for fun, action, variety, outdoor, challenge, and surprise.